So a lot of folks think Tyrese Maxey is about to have a huge monster breakout season coming off the heels of his performance last year once James Harden joined the Philadelphia 76ers. But I'm here to say in Lee Corso's voice, not so fast. What's up, YouTube, and welcome back to the Sixers Breakroom. Before we talk about Tyrese Maxey, don't forget to hit that like button. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel. It's free for you. It does a whole lot to me. Show some free love. Makes you a dope individual. And if you want to support in other ways, you know that membership tab. You know that link is in the description below. You already heard me say it on the last video, so let's get to it. Tyrese Maxey had a huge second half of the year last year, particularly when James Harden joined the team and he was able to move off the ball. A little less attention was on him. He had some monster games down the stretch. He had some monster playoff games, and Tyrese Maxey seems to be like the NBA darling. Coming into this year, we keep seeing videos in the offseason that he's working out 2 days, 3 days. Like, he's been in the lab. He's working on his game. Everybody is looking at Tyrese Maxey as maybe even a potential candidate for most improved player in the NBA. Now, just like every other Sixers fan, I'm a huge fan of Tyrese Maxey. Like, I love the kid. He's exactly what you want in a player on your team, right? Like, he's energetic, he's passionate, he plays both ends, offense, defense, and he seems to love the game. Like, he's always in the gym, he's always in the lab working, and that's what you want to see from a young player, right? However, I think that it's actually possible that this year he takes a little bit of a step back. Let me explain what I mean. I don't think he's going to take a step back in the sense of he's not going to be as good. He's working as much as he's working, like, he's going to get better. He's going to likely be a better player this year than he was last year. But this is what happens when you go into last season, right? And coming into the season, all the attention was on Ben Simmons. Will he play? Won't he play? And that dynamic between him and Doc Rivers and him and the team and him and Joel Embiid. And there was no attention and no pressure on Tyrese Maxey, at least from the outside. I'm sure he put some pressure on himself because he had to get thrust into this larger role. All of a sudden, he's the point guard. And you saw first half of the year, he was good. He was good. Not great, but he was good. A huge jump in production because he played more minutes, but he wasn't necessarily blowing everybody away, right? Then you bring in James Harden. You move Tyrese Maxey off the ball. A lot less attention is on him because you have to focus on James Harden and Joel Embiid every night. He gets to fly under the radar, and he gets to produce the way that he produced. Now, you still got to make shots, right? Just because you're open doesn't mean you're going to make them. And he capitalized on every opportunity that he had last year. I'm just here to say that coming into this season, Tyrese Maxey is not sneaking up on anybody. Tyrese Maxey is going to be on everybody's scouting reports as a guy that you have to be aware of, a guy you have to contain, a guy that you don't want to let kill you. Now, of course, the majority of the attention is still going to be on Embiid and then Harden, but it wouldn't surprise me if actually on scouting reports, it's number one, shut down Embiid, and number two, lock up Maxey. Like, he might be the number two on some team scouting reports, and I think that that's just really a position that he didn't have to be in last year, right? He wasn't a guy that teams were scared of going into last season, and this year he's going to be. Between the way he produced in the second half of the regular season, the way he produced in the playoffs, and all the talk about him this offseason, I can promise you he's going to be playing teams and opposing coaches are going to be circling him on their scouting reports and keying in on him, and he's going to be a guy that they're really, really focused on from a defensive game plan perspective. Now, because of that, I think that you might see it's a little more difficult for him to get off the way he was getting off last year. And because of that, it would not completely shock me if we look up at the end of the season and his numbers are not vastly improved the way everybody assumes they will be. Maybe a small jump, maybe a small regression, but it might just be a little bit more of the same. Not because he's not better, but because he's getting more attention. He's drawing more doubles. He's drawing more blitzes and pick and roll, things like that. Just the coverages he's going to see are going to be different this year than they were last year. But we'll have to wait and see, you know, depending on how James Harden looks. If James Harden comes into the season in shape and healthy the way some of these videos look like he is, all of a sudden that could change the dynamic too, because Harden's going to draw more attention than he did last year when I think people kind of knew he was banged up down the stretch. again, all of this is just predicting. All of this is hypothesizing. We won't really know. But all I'm saying is when it comes to Tyrese Maxey, I'm not going to automatically assume he's going to take a monster jump from a production standpoint. I think he's going to be a better player, but you can be a better player and not necessarily produce better numbers. That's just my opinion. I want to hear from you guys. Sound off in the comment section below. Do you think that Tyrese Maxey is going to have a huge jump this season from a production standpoint? Do you think it's going to be kind of the same as last year, or do you think that it's possible he even takes a step back? Sound off in the comment section below. If you like the video, don't forget to like the video. Subscribe to the channel. It's free love. Free for you. Does a lot for me. If you want to support in other ways, that membership link is in the description below. I will see you guys on the next one. This is the Sixers Break Room. Peace.